There is a specific sound a heart makes when it breaks. It's not a loud crack, like a bone snapping. It's quieter. It sounds like a pen signing a divorce paper. It sounds like a suitcase zipper closing in the middle of the night. Or, in my case, it sounds like the clinking of a silver spoon against a crystal champagne flute. Mark standing tall, hand on Jessica's waist. Jessica is wearing white, looking innocent. To new beginnings. And to the miracle, the heir I have waited 45 years for. Look at him. My husband, Mark, the man I shared my bed, my breath, and my secrets with for 15 years. He looks at that girl, Jessica, his 24-year-old secretary, like she is the Virgin Mary. He thinks he has won. He thinks he has discarded the broken wife and replaced her with a fertile goddess. But Mark has a fatal flaw. He believes his own hype. He believes he is a king. He forgot that kings only rule as long as the queen protects them. And tonight, the protection ends. Tonight, I'm not just the ex-wife crashing the party. I am the executioner. Thunderstorm outside. The interior of a luxury modern house. The atmosphere is freezing cold. Let's rewind. 3 weeks ago. The night the rain didn't stop. I was in the kitchen, making his favorite roast beef. It's funny how we cling to routines even when we sense the end is coming. I heard his car pull into the driveway. Usually, he honks. That night, silence. Mark walks in. He doesn't look at the food. He doesn't look at Alara. He places a manila envelope on the marble island. We need to talk, Alara. Sit down. His voice wasn't angry. It was indifferent. That hurt more. Anger implies passion. Indifference implies you are already dead to them. I wiped my hands on my apron, an apron I bought to be the perfect housewife, and sat. Is everything okay at the company, Mark? You look pale. Mark laughing dryly. The company is fine. Better than fine, actually. Since Jessica took over operations, efficiency is up 20%. She's sharp. She has energy. She represents the future. I felt the chill run down my spine. Jessica, the intern he hired 6 months ago, the one who called him Mr. Sterling with a breathy voice that made my skin crawl. I'm leaving you, Alara. I've already spoken to the lawyers. The papers are in the envelope. Alara, staring at the envelope. Her hands trembling slightly. Leaving? Mark, we've been married for 15 years. We built this life. We built this house. You can't just... Mark, slamming his hand on the table. I can, and I am. Look at us, Alara. Look at this empty house. It's a mausoleum. I'm 45 years old. I want a legacy. I want a son to carry my name. And you. Mark looks at her with pure disgust. He points a finger at her stomach. You are a dead end. A dried-up well. I gave you 15 years to give me a child. You couldn't. Jessica is pregnant. She's giving me a son. She's giving me what you never could. The air left my lungs. Pregnant. The word hung in the air like toxic smoke. But then, the second wave of emotion hit me. Not sadness, but shock. Because Mark, my arrogant, foolish Mark, had forgotten the one secret that defined our entire marriage. A sterile white clinic room. A younger Mark, 30, and Alara, 27. Mark is pacing, looking terrified. He doesn't remember the day at Dr. Harrison's clinic the way I do. He remembers it as the day I was diagnosed. But that's not what happened. Dr. Harrison calls Alara into his private office while Mark waits outside. Mrs. Sterling, please sit down. The results are difficult. Alara, younger voice. Is it me, doctor? I can take it. Just tell me. No, Alara, it's not you. Your reproductive system is perfectly healthy. It's Mark. He has a condition called congenital bilateral absence of the vas deferens. In simple terms, he was born sterile. He has 0 sperm count. It is physically impossible for him to father a child naturally. Elara looking through the glass window at Mark. Mark is biting his nails, shaking his leg. He looks vulnerable, scared. I looked at my husband. He came from a family of alpha males. His father was a tyrant who measured worth by strength and lineage. If Mark knew he was sterile, it would destroy him. He would feel less than a man. He would spiral. Elara standing up, wiping a tear. She looks determined. Elara, younger voice. Doctor, don't tell him. Excuse me? Tell him it's me. Tell him I'm the one who can't have children. Put it in my file. Hide his results. Elara, I can't ethically. Please. He's fragile. I'm strong. I can carry the burden. I love him enough to be the broken one. And so, I signed my life away. I walked out to the waiting room, took his trembling hands, and lied. I told him I was barren. I watched the relief wash over him. He hugged me, not to comfort me, but because he was safe. He wasn't the failure. I was. Back to the kitchen scene, present day. Mark is sneering. Why are you silent? Nothing to say? Just sign the papers, Elara. The prenup is clear. Fault-based divorce due to inability to fulfill marital expectations. You get nothing. I keep the house. I keep the accounts. You have until tomorrow morning to vacate. I looked at this man who stood tall on a foundation of lies I built for him. He was using my sacrifice as a weapon to destroy me. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run to the safe, pull out the real medical records, and shove them in his face. You are the empty one, Mark, not me. Elara stands up slowly. She is calm, deadly calm. But then I stopped. Why tell him now? If I tell him now, it's just an argument. He might not believe me. He might destroy the evidence. No. Revenge is a dish best served cold, and I wanted him to freeze. You want me to leave, Mark? Fine. I'll leave. But remember this moment. Remember the look on my face. Because one day, you are going to pray to God that you had just stayed silent. Get out. And leave the keys to the Mercedes. That's company property now. Elara walking out into the rain with 2 suitcases. She turns back one last time to look at the mansion. I walked into the storm. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a home. All I had was a suitcase of clothes and a very specific set of documents I had retrieved from our safe while he was boasting about Jessica. He thinks he kicked a dog out into the street. He has no idea he just released a wolf. A flickering neon sign outside a window buzzes loudly. Inside, a cheap, cramped motel room. The wallpaper is peeling. Elara sits on the edge of the bed, staring at the wall. The contrast with her mansion is stark. There is a specific smell to desperation. It smells like stale cigarette smoke, industrial bleach, and damp carpet. This is the Sunrise Motel on the edge of town. It's where people go when they want to disappear, or when they've been thrown away. 3 days ago, I was sleeping on 800 thread count Egyptian cotton sheets. Tonight, I'm afraid to touch the bedspread. Elara opens her suitcase. It contains her clothes, a small jewelry box, and the blue medical file. Mark thinks I'm destitute. He froze the joint accounts before I even walked out the door. He's thorough. I'll give him that. He wants to starve me out. He wants me to come crawling back, begging for a settlement so he can dictate the terms. He wants me to sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, so his reputation remains spotless. Elara walks to the cracked mirror. She looks tired, dark circles under her eyes. She touches her reflection. Elara, whispering to herself, "You did this, Elara. You created a monster by feeding his ego. Now the monster is hungry." I could cry. I could curl up in a ball and mourn the 15 years I wasted. But crying is for people who have hope that someone will hear them. I know better. No one is coming to save me. I reached into the hidden lining of my suitcase. Mark froze the joint accounts. yes. But he forgot that I had a life before him. And he certainly forgot about the small, private inheritance I kept in a separate trust, the Vancourt Trust. Alara pulls out a burner phone, a cheap, prepaid phone. She dials a number. Her voice changes from sad to cold. "Mr. Vance? It's Alara. Yes, the time has come. Activate the funds. And I need a number for a private investigator, the best one in the city. No, I don't care about the cost. I want someone who can find a needle in a haystack, or in this case, a rat in a penthouse. A dimly lit diner, rain sliding down the windows. Alara, wearing sunglasses and a scarf, sits opposite a man named Frank 50 Seconds, gritty, ex-cop. Frank wasn't pretty. He smelled like old leather and strong coffee, but he had eyes that didn't miss a thing. I slid a thick envelope of cash across the sticky table. "So, let me get this straight, Mrs. Sterling. You want me to tail your husband?" "No. Mark is predictable. He goes to work. He goes to the gym. He goes home to gloat. I don't care about him. I want you to tail her. Jessica." "The mistress?" "The fiancée. She's pregnant. Mark claims it's his. I know for a medical fact that is impossible. I want to know who the real father is." Frank raises an eyebrow, intrigued. "If he's sterile and she's pregnant, there's definitely a third party. Usually it's an ex-boyfriend, a personal trainer, or the pool boy. The classics. Find him, Frank. I need photos. I need dates. I need DNA if you can get it. I'm not just divorcing my husband. I'm preparing a funeral for his reputation." I spent the next week in that motel room, planning. I mapped out Mark's finances. I reviewed the loan documents for our house, the house he thinks he owns, but which is actually mortgaged to my family's bank. I realized something terrifying. Mark is broke. On paper, he's a millionaire. But in reality, he's leveraged to the hilt. He borrowed against the house to fund the company expansion. He borrowed against the company to buy Jessica jewelry. He is a house of cards waiting for a breeze. And I am about to become a hurricane. 1 week later, Frank knocks on the motel door. He looks different today. Uncomfortable. He isn't holding the envelope with his usual swagger. When an ex-cop looks nervous, you know it's bad. Frank walked in and refused to sit down. He tossed a manila folder onto the bed. "Mrs. Sterling, I've seen a lot of dirt in this town. But this is messy. You sure you want to see these? I've lost my home and my husband, Frank. Nothing can hurt me now." "Who is he? The tennis instructor?" "I wish it was the tennis instructor." Alara opens the folder. We see grainy photos taken with a long-range lens. They show Jessica meeting a man in a park. They are kissing. They are arguing. They are intimate. My hands didn't shake. I felt like I was floating above my body. I looked at the man in the photo. I knew the back of that head. I knew that leather jacket. I bought that jacket for him last Christmas. Close up on the photo. The man turns his face. It is David, Mark's younger brother. Alara voice. Barely a whisper. David. David. Mark's younger brother. The screw-up of the family. The one Mark supported for years. The one who came over for Sunday dinners and called me sis. The one who cried on my shoulder when his last girlfriend dumped him. It gets worse. I pulled her phone records. They talk 5 times a day, usually right after your husband leaves for work. And I found a clinic receipt. Frank points to a document. "She's not 3 months pregnant, Mrs. Sterling. She's 4 months pregnant. The timeline? It matches the weekend your husband was away in Tokyo for business. The weekend David stayed at your guest house to watch the dogs." Alara drops the photos. She starts to laugh. It's a dry, humorless laugh that sounds almost like sobbing. It was too perfect. Mark, the man obsessed with his legacy, the man who discarded me because his bloodline needed to continue, was going to raise his brother's child. A brother who despises him. A mistress who is playing him. They are all laughing at him. Alara stands up. Her posture changes. The slump of the victim is gone. She stands straight, her eyes burning with intensity. Frank, can you get me a copy of the invite list for Mark's upcoming dinner party? The future heir celebration? Yeah, it's the talk of the town. Everyone who is anyone will be there. Investors, partners, family. Good. I need to go shopping. I can't crash a party looking like a homeless woman. Montage of Alara transforming. She dyes her hair a shade darker, fiercer. She buys a stunning, blood-red dress, using her secret card. She looks dangerous. Mark thinks he broke me. He thinks I'm crying in a gutter somewhere. He has no idea that I hold the keys to his destruction in one hand and the proof of his humiliation in the other. I looked at the invitation Frank intercepted for me. Mr. and Mrs. Mark Sterling. He hadn't even updated the invite list yet. Alara, looking in the mirror, applying red lipstick. You wanted a show, Mark? You wanted to announce your miracle to the world? Fine. I'll help you. But the announcement won't be about a birth. It will be about a death? The death of your ego. Alara puts the blue medical file, Mark's sterility, and the photos of David and Jessica into a sleek black clutch bag. Snap. The sound is like a gunshot. The taxi is here. The rain has stopped. The storm is over outside, but inside the Sterling mansion, the thunder is just about to roll. High-rise office building in the city center. Glass walls, steel, and silence. A stark contrast to the gritty motel room. Alara sits at the head of a massive mahogany table. Across from her is Arthur, 60 seconds, a distinguished lawyer. Mark always bragged about his connections. He loved to drop names at dinner parties, talking about his bankers, his investors, his people. He never realized that the most powerful person in his financial ecosystem was the woman he asked to fetch his slippers. I wasn't just Alara Sterling, the housewife. I was born Alara Vance. My grandfather founded Vancourt Holdings. When my parents died, I inherited the controlling interest. I kept it quiet. I wanted a simple life. I wanted a man who loved me, not my portfolio. What a naive little girl I was. Arthur slides a thick leather binder across the table. It's all here, Alara. The foreclosure papers on the Sterling mansion, the repossession orders for the company vehicles, and the call notice for his business loan. What is his current standing, Arthur? Critical. Mark leveraged everything on this new expansion. He missed the last 2 payments. Technically, he is in default. We could have seized the assets last week. Alara tracing her finger over the documents. But you didn't, because I told you to wait. Correct. But Alara, are you sure? Once you sign this, you destroy him. There is no coming back. His credit will be ruined. His reputation will be ash. He will be uninsurable. Alara picks up a heavy fountain pen. She looks at the nib, sharp as a dagger. He destroyed a 15-year marriage for a 4-month fling with his brother. He kicked me out into the rain to protect a lie. I'm not destroying him, Arthur. I'm just balancing the books. She signs the paper with a flourish. The sound of the pen scratching is loud and definitive. Very well. The foreclosure is active, effective immediately. When do you want us to serve the papers? Not yet. Tonight? He is hosting a party. A celebration of his future. I want the servers to arrive exactly when the clock strikes 10. I want the lights to go out while he is still toasting his success. Cut to a high-end boutique. Alara is standing in front of a mirror. She is wearing a dress that is the color of arterial blood. It is structured, sharp, and expensive. They say you should dress for the job you want. Tonight my job is widow, or perhaps executioner. I looked at myself. The tired woman from the motel was gone. In her place was a woman who owned the ground Mark walked on. I bought the dress. I hired a car, not a taxi. A black limousine with tinted windows. If I was going to crash a funeral, I might as well arrive in a hearse. Inside the limousine, nighttime, city lights blurring by, Alara clutches the black bag containing the medical file and the photos. My phone buzzed. A text from Frank, my PI. Target is at the venue. David is there too. They look nervous. Jessica is drinking sparkling water, playing the saint. Mark is drunk on attention. Alara, whispering, "Enjoy it, Mark. Drink it all in. Because the hangover is going to last a lifetime." The Sterling Mansion. It's glowing with lights. Luxury cars line the driveway. Music thumps softly. Alara's limousine pulls up to the gate. "Name, please?" I don't see a limo on the list. The window rolls down. Alara lowers her sunglasses. She looks the guard dead in the eye. "It's Mrs. Sterling, and unless you want to explain to the owner of this property why she was denied entry to her own home, I suggest you open the gate. Now." The guard stammers, checks his clipboard, sees nothing, but is intimidated by her aura. He opens the gate. Narrator. Power isn't about shouting. Power is about certainty. He opened the gate because he smelled the authority on me. I walked up the driveway. I could see them through the floor-to-ceiling windows. My friends, my neighbors, people who ate at my table for a decade. They were all there, drinking Mark's wine, celebrating his new life. How quickly they forget. Alara steps through the front door. The foyer is crowded. The conversation stops in waves, as people notice her. The silence spread like a contagion. One by one, heads turned. The whispers started. "Is that Alara? I thought she moved to Florida. Look at that dress. She looks terrifying." MRS. Holloway, 50 seconds, a frenemy, steps forward, holding a martini. She smiles with fake pity. "Alara. Oh, you poor dear, we didn't think you'd come. It must be so hard for you to see them. Happy. Are you here to pick up the rest of your things?" Alara stops. She smiles. It's a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. "Hello, Linda." "No, I'm not here for my things. I'm here for the entertainment. I hear the main act is going to be a tragedy. I wouldn't miss it for the world." Mrs. Holloway looks confused. Alara walks past her, her heels clicking rhythmically on the marble floor. The main hall. Mark is on a small stage, holding a microphone. Jessica is beside him, looking radiant but anxious. David is in the shadows, near the bar, looking guilty. I found a spot in the back. In the shadows. I watched them. Mark looked good. I'll give him that. Success suits him. But Jessica, she looked like a deer caught in headlights. Every time Mark touched her belly, she flinched. She knew the baby wasn't his. She knew she was living on borrowed time. And David, he looked like a man waiting for the gallows. Mark, into the microphone. "Thank you all for coming. Tonight isn't just about business. It's about family. It's about the future. Family." The word tasted like bile in my mouth. He scanned the room, basking in the applause. And then, his eyes found me. Mark freezes. The smile falters. He locks eyes with Alara across the room. She raises her glass in a mock toast. He saw me. For a second, he looked ready to call security. But then he saw the dress. He saw the confidence. He saw the way the crowd parted around me. And he hesitated. That hesitation was his mistake. He decided to ignore me. He decided to proceed with the speech. He thought he could drown me out with applause. "I have an announcement that I've waited my whole life to make." Alara, internal monologue. "Go ahead, Mark. Say it. Dig the hole deeper." Alara reaches into her bag. She touches the blue envelope. She begins to walk forward. The crowd parts for her like the Red Sea. The trap is set. The cage is locked. And the mouse just stepped onto the trigger. It's showtime. The room is bathed in golden light. Mark stands on the raised platform. He holds a microphone in one hand and Jessica's hand in the other. He looks like a politician winning an election. There is a unique kind of arrogance that comes before a fall. It's blinding. Mark stood there, glowing with it. He didn't see the whispers. He didn't see the uncomfortable glances the guests were exchanging as I walked closer. He only saw his own reflection in their eyes. Thank you, everyone. You know, life is about chapters. Sometimes, you get stuck in a chapter that just doesn't work. A chapter that is stagnant, barren. Mark pauses for effect. A few guests cough awkwardly, knowing he is talking about Elara. But then, you turn the page. You find new energy, you find youth. And most importantly, you find fruitfulness. Jessica has given me the greatest gift a man can ask for. A legacy, a son, applause. But it's polite, scattered. Jessica smiles, but her eyes are darting around the room, looking for David. Barren. He used that word again. He really believes it. He has rewritten history so completely that he actually believes I was the broken one. I was standing 10 feet away now. I held the blue envelope in my hand. It felt heavy, like a loaded gun. So, I want to propose a toast. To my son. To the future of the sterling name. Elara, voice clear, cutting through the applause. Before we drink to the sterling name, Mark, shouldn't we check if the baby is actually a sterling? The room goes silent instantly. Mark freezes. He lowers his glass. He peers into the light to find the source of the voice. Elara steps into the spotlight. The silence was absolute. It was delicious. I walked up the stairs to the stage. My red dress rustled softly. I didn't look at the crowd. I looked only at him. Mark hissing. Off mic. Elara, get off this stage. You're drunk. You're embarrassing yourself. Elara, smiling calmly. I'm stone cold sober, darling, and I think the only person about to be embarrassed is you. Elara turns to the microphone. Mark tries to grab it, but she steps back. Elara. To the crowd. My husband talks about barren chapters. He talks about miracles. But there is a difference between a miracle and a medical impossibility. Jessica, stepping forward, voice shrill. Security. Someone get her out of here. She's crazy. Quiet, Jessica. The adults are talking. Elara holds up the blue envelope. The seal is broken. Mark, do you remember Dr. Harrison? The specialist we saw 15 years ago? The day you thought I was diagnosed with infertility? Mark, confused. What does that have to do with anything? You couldn't give me a child. We all know that. Move on. I couldn't give you a child, Mark, because you couldn't give me one. Elara pulls the document out. She hands it to Mark. He refuses to take it, so she holds it up for the front row to see. Diagnosis: congenital bilateral absence of the vas deferens. Patient: Mark Sterling. Date: the 14th of October 2010. Mark's mother, sitting in the front row, gasps. She stands up. Elara. What are you saying? I'm saying, Margaret, that your son was born sterile. He has 0 sperm count. He has never been able to father a child. I took the blame for 15 years to protect his ego. I let you call me defective to save his pride. Mark snatches the paper. He reads it. His hands start to shake. His face goes from red to ghost white. I watched the reality crash into him. It was violent. The denial, the confusion, and then the memory. The memory of the doctor's face. The memory of my voice saying, "It's okay, I'll handle it." It all came flooding back. Mark, whispering, "No, this is a mistake," Dr. Harrison said. Dr. Harrison wanted to tell you. I stopped him. Call him, Mark. His number is right there. Mark looks up from the paper. He looks at Elara. Then, slowly, Terrifyingly, he turns his head to look at Jessica. And there it was. The math. If A equals 0 and B equals pregnant, then C implies a liar. Mark, voice, shaking. Jessica? Jessica is backing away. She bumps into a waiter, knocking over a tray of drinks. Crash. She's lying, Mark. It's a fake document. She printed it off the internet. I'm carrying your son. Look at the ultrasound. He has your nose. Elara, laughing softly. He can't have his nose, Jessica, because he doesn't have his DNA. Unless. Did you undergo a miraculous conception? Mark, advancing on Jessica. Is it true? Did you know? Tell me. Tell. Mark, stop. You're scaring me. Think about the baby. Whose baby is it? The scream echoes through the hall. Guests are filming with their phones. This is viral gold. Mark was unraveling. The suit didn't fit him anymore. The arrogance was gone. He was just a small, scared man realizing he had thrown away his life for a fraud. But I wasn't done. I didn't just want to prove he wasn't the father. I wanted to show him exactly how close the betrayal really was. Elara reaches into her bag again. She pulls out the second item. The photos from the private investigator. You're asking the wrong questions, Mark. You're asking if she cheated. You should be asking who she cheated with. Elara looks toward the bar. David is trying to sneak out the side exit. He freezes as the spotlight shifts to him. Going somewhere, David? The family reunion is just getting started. The room turned to look at David. Mark followed their gaze. The realization on his face was slower this time, but deeper, more painful. The brother he protected. The brother he employed. The brother he invited into his home. Mark, meet the real father of your heir. The photos land on the floor. They are glossy and high resolution. They show David and Jessica intimate in a car, at a park, holding hands. The crowd gasps. Phones are flashing everywhere. The sound of a family shattering is louder than any scream. Mark stared at the photos. He picked one up with a trembling hand. He looked at David, his little brother, the one he paid tuition for, the one he bailed out of jail twice. Mark's voice, broken, barely audible. David, tell me, this is a joke. Tell me Elara photoshopped these. David is cornered. He looks at Mark, and suddenly, his fear turns into resentment. He stops cowering and sneers. Why are you surprised, Mark? You always share, don't you? You share your wisdom. You share your money. Why not share your woman? Mark lunges at David. A punch is thrown. Security guards, the venue's security, rush in to separate them. A table crashes over. Jessica, screaming. Stop it. David, help me. Mark pinned back by guards, spitting blood. I gave you a job. I gave you a life. And you sleep with my fiancé? While she is carrying my child? David laughing. My child, Mark. It's my kid. We laughed about it. Every time you bragged about your heir, we laughed. Because we knew you were shooting blanks. Everyone in the family suspected it but you. The cruelty was breathtaking. Mark wasn't just betrayed. He was the punchline of a joke he didn't know he was in. He looked at Jessica, the woman he destroyed our marriage for. Jessica. Tell him he's lying. Jessica, sobbing, clutching her belly. I had to, Mark. You were never around. You were always working. David listened to me. And he's not old. He's not boring. Mark pushes the guards away. He straightens his torn suit. He tries to regain a shred of dignity. He turns his rage toward Elara. Get out, all of you. This party is over. He points a shaking finger at Elara. Especially you. You ruined my life. You humiliated me. I want you off my property. Now, or I will have you arrested for trespassing. This was the moment. The final card. The ace of spades. I didn't move. I didn't flinch. I just signaled to Arthur. my lawyer, who had been standing quietly by the entrance. "Your property, Mark? Are you sure about that? I bought this house. My name is on the deed." "Your name is on the title, but the deed is held by the bank until the mortgage is paid off, and as of this morning." Arthur steps forward and hands Ilara a thick legal document bound in red tape. "You are in default. You missed 3 payments. You leveraged the equity to buy Jessica that diamond ring she's wearing, which means the bank has the right to call the loan. So what? I'll call Vancourt Holdings tomorrow. I know the VP. I'll get an extension." Ilara, walking closer, her voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "You don't need to call them, Mark. You can just ask me." Mark looks confused. "What are you talking about?" "My maiden name is Vance. Vancourt stands for Vance Courtney. My grandfather built that bank. I am the majority shareholder. I own the board. I own the bank. And consequently..." Ilara slams the foreclosure notice onto his chest. "I own this house." The realization hits Mark like a physical blow. His knees buckle. He looks around the room. The guests are silent, awestruck. The power dynamic has completely flipped. He looked small. For the first time in 15 years, I saw him clearly. He wasn't a king. He was just a man standing on a rug that I had purchased. And I just pulled it out. "I'm invoking the foreclosure clause, effective immediately. This is now private property belonging to the Vancourt Trust. And you are trespassing." Ilara snaps her fingers. 6 burly private security guards, her own team, step out from the shadows of the garden. "Escort Mr. Sterling, his brother, and his mistress off the premises. They can take their cars. Oh wait, the company owns those. And the company is also in default. They can walk." Mark begging, falling to his knees. "Ilara, please, don't do this. Where will I go? This is my home. We can work this out. I'll leave Jessica. I'll fire David. Just take me back." He reached for my hand. His touch, once familiar, now felt cold and clammy. I looked down at him. I didn't feel hate anymore. I felt pity. "You kicked me out into the rain with nothing but a suitcase, Mark. You told me I was broken. You told me I was useless." Ilara pulls her hand away. She turns her back on him. "It's not raining tonight, Mark. You're lucky. Now get out." The guards grab Mark, David, and Jessica. They are dragged toward the gate, screaming and blaming each other. The guests watch in stunned silence. Fade to a bright, sunlit studio. The walls are covered in vibrant, chaotic, beautiful paintings. Ilara is wearing paint-splattered overalls, looking healthier, younger, and free. "It's been 6 months. The divorce was finalized last week. Thanks to the infidelity clause and the fraud investigation Mark is currently facing, I got everything. I sold the mansion. It smelled too much like lies. I bought a cottage by the sea. I started painting again, something Mark told me was a waste of time." A newspaper clipping on the table. Headline: "Sterling Empire Crumbles. CEO ousted in family scandal. I heard Jessica left David as soon as the money ran out." Mark is living in a 1-bedroom apartment, working as a consultant for a firm that used to be his rival. He calls sometimes. I never answer. Ilara walks out onto her balcony, overlooking the ocean. She holds a cup of tea, breathing in the salt air. They say revenge is sweet. But that's not true. Revenge is just necessary. What's sweet is the silence that comes after, the peace of knowing that you didn't just survive, you conquered. Ilara turns to the camera, breaking the fourth wall. She smiles a genuine, warm smile. "I spent 15 years protecting a man who saw me as an accessory. I thought I was weak for staying. But I realized it took strength to endure, and it took even more strength to burn it all down. Ladies, let this be a lesson. Check the bank accounts, know the passwords, and never, ever let someone treat you like an option in your own life. You are the CEO of your destiny. And now I have a question for you. If you were in my shoes, would you have taken the house, or would you have left him with nothing but his shame? Tell me in the comments below. I read every single one. If you enjoyed seeing justice served, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. There are a lot more stories hidden in the dark, and I'm just getting started.